Every time I saw Sarah whispering to our classmates, my heart sank. It felt like she was plotting something against me, and I couldn't shake off the feeling that I was the target of her secret talks. I noticed how she would smirk when she looked my way, as if she was sharing a joke with everyone but me. It hurt to think that someone I once considered a friend could want to hurt me so badly. Instead of letting her lies take over my life, I decided to gather proof of what she was saying. It was a big risk, and I was scared, but I knew I had to stand up for myself. When I finally faced everyone, I could feel the tension in the air. This moment would change everything for both of us. Before Sarah came into my life, everything felt perfect. I'd great friends, fun times, and dreams for the future. My job was solid, and Jake, my boyfriend, was everything I wanted. We laughed together, made plans, and I thought we were unbreakable. My friends were loyal, always there for me, and I believed I could count on them no matter what. Then Sarah showed up. At first, I thought she was exciting and fun. We became friends quickly, and I thought she'd add to my happiness, but I'd no idea that this was just the calm before a huge storm. As Sarah got closer, things started to change. I felt uneasy, like something was off. I began to wonder if my friendships were as strong as I thought. How could someone I let in turn out to hurt me? The betrayal hit me like a punch in the gut, leaving me lost and confused. Life before Sarah felt like a dream, a fragile bubble that burst as soon as her lies crept into my world. I'd to face the truth. My trusting friends weren't as reliable as I believed. "Why would you do this to me, Sarah?" I shouted, my voice trembling with anger and hurt. She smirked. "You were too trusting. That's your fault." I felt my heart sink. How could someone I thought was a friend turn against me so easily? The reality of her manipulation made me question everything. Jake tried to comfort me, but I could see the doubt in his eyes. "I don't know who to trust anymore," I whispered, my voice cracking. "Just stick with me," he replied, but his words felt heavy, like they were filled with uncertainty. Sarah's betrayal was a dark twist in my once bright life. I'd to fight to reclaim what I'd lost, but it wouldn't be easy. Trust was shattered, and my heart was broken. As I got to know Sarah, things started to feel off. At first, she seemed like a blast, fun and friendly. But soon, I noticed strange things. She'd twist stories, making them sound way more exciting than they really were. I thought she was just trying to entertain us, but inside, I felt a little tug of worry. One night, she invited me to a party. I was pumped until I overheard her gossiping about our friends, spilling secrets she shouldn't even know. A chill ran through me. If she talked about them like that, what would she say about me? My trust in her began to crumble. Then, I heard her say I was cheating on Jake. I froze. How could she do that to me? My heart raced as I realized all those little signs I'd ignored were leading to something much worse. I felt desperate and betrayed, like I was stuck in a bad dream. I started connecting the dots. All those moments I brushed off suddenly made sense. Sarah wasn't just a friend. She was out to get me. I knew I'd to act fast. I couldn't let her lies mess up my life. My fight for the truth was only starting, and I wouldn't back down. "Why would you say that about me?" I confronted her, my voice shaking with anger. "Relax, I was just joking," she smirked, but I could see the glint of manipulation in her eyes. "No, it's not funny. You're playing with fire here," I shot back, feeling the heat of betrayal boiling inside me. Sarah laughed, but it felt cold. I realized I needed to break free from her grip. I couldn't let her dark games control my life. The battle was on, and I was ready to fight for my truth. Confronting Sarah was like flipping a switch. I never thought a friend could be so mean. When I uncovered her lies, it felt like a punch to the gut. I couldn't believe she'd been twisting stories to hurt me and my closest friends. Each lie cut deep, and the trust I'd in her vanished like smoke. I made a plan. I started collecting proof, saving every text and reaching out to others who'd seen her tricks. This wasn't just about me. It was about stopping her from playing games with people's hearts. I felt stronger knowing I could fight back. Every day the weight of her betrayal tried to drag me down, but I stood tall. I reached out to friends who believed in me, sharing my story. With their help, I felt ready to face Sarah and reveal her true colors. "Why did you do this, Sarah?" I confronted her, my voice steady. She smirked. "Because it was fun. You were too trusting." The moment I found out Sarah had betrayed me, it hit me hard. It felt like a giant wave crashing over me, and I couldn't breathe. I was stunned. My trust was smashed into pieces, and it changed everything about my friendships. Sarah's lies hurt my reputation and twisted how everyone saw me. It broke my heart to watch friends walk away, believing her false stories. I needed help. I turned to my family and a few real friends who stood by me. Together, we faced the hard road ahead. We shared our stories of heartbreak and how to rebuild trust. I realized that fixing things isn't just about talking to the person who lied, but also about seeing how their actions hurt everyone around them. I started to forgive Sarah and myself. I had to let go of my anger and stop blaming myself for trusting her in the first place. Holding on to that anger only kept the pain alive. As time passed, I discovered my strength. I decided to use Sarah's lies as motivation to rise above it all. Was determined to clear my name. I had to gather evidence against Sarah, fast. Anger bubbled inside me, and fear crept in. I started collecting everything. Messages, recordings, anything that could help prove I wasn't the bad guy. It felt like I was building a wall of truth around myself, one piece at a time. Every time Sarah told her lies, I made sure to write it down. I took screenshots of our conversations and noted what she said to our friends. It was tiring, but I couldn't stop. I had to show everyone who she really was. The fake smile hiding a person full of deceit. I even talked to others she'd hurt, hoping to gather more stories. As I collected evidence, I found out I wasn't alone. Other victims came forward, sharing what Sarah had done to them. It made my heart ache to see how many lives she'd messed with. But at the same time, I felt connected to these strangers. We were all fighting against the same liar. With every piece of evidence, my courage grew. I was like a detective, piecing together the truth. I couldn't let fear stop me anymore. I was done being a victim. It was time for Sarah to face what she'd done, and I was ready to show everyone her true colors. "Sarah, you think you can just lie and get away with it?" I shouted during one of our confrontations, my voice shaking with anger. She shrugged, that smug look on her face. "Nobody will believe you. You're just jealous." Fear had followed me for too long, like a shadow I couldn't shake off. It whispered, doubts in my ear as I gathered proof against Sarah. What if I faced her? What if she brought up my insecurities again? I was scared. Scared I'd lose more friends. Scared Jake would turn his back on me again. Every day felt like I was running from a dark cloud, feeling smaller and weaker. But as I got ready to confront her, I knew I had to fight back. I couldn't let fear control my life anymore. I thought about the lies Sarah told, the gossip that spread. Like wildfire, the betrayal that stung like a sharp knife. Anger bubbled inside me, and it gave me strength. This was more than just a showdown with Sarah. It was about standing tall for myself and taking back my name. Finally, the day came. My heart raced as I stepped into the cafe, ready to face my fears. I knew confronting Sarah meant facing her lies and my own weaknesses. "Sarah," I called out, my voice steady, even though my hands shook. People turned to look, and I felt the weight of their gazes. "What do you want?" Sarah sneered, crossing her arms. "I want the truth," I shot back, my voice rising. "You can't keep lying and manipulating everyone. It ends now." The tension crackled between us. "You think you can take me down? You're nothing," she spat. But I stood my ground. "I'm more than what you say I am. You've hurt people, and I won't let you hurt me anymore," I yelled, the words spilling out like fire. With each word, I felt lighter. I wasn't just talking to Sarah. I was battling the fear that had held me captive for too long. The cafe was silent, all eyes on us. I could see the shock on Sarah's face. "You'll regret this," she hissed. "No, I won't," I replied firmly. my heart pounding. I'm taking back my power. I thought I knew Sarah, but her actions turned everything upside down. It wasn't just jealousy, it was something darker. She craved control and attention, twisting everything around her like a puppet master. Instead of being a friend, she became a chaos machine, spreading rumors and lies to keep everyone watching her. The betrayal hit me hard. I felt it like a sharp knife in my back. How could you do this? I confronted her one day, anger bubbling in my chest. We were friends, she just smirked, her eyes flashing with a mix of insecurity and power. Friends? You just don't get it. It's all about who's on top. I realized her pain was driving her to hurt others. She didn't care about my reputation, or how her lies twisted my life. All she wanted was to feel important, even if it meant dragging me down with her. Look at me. I'm the star of the show, she'd often shout, throwing her hands in the air like a diva. Each lie was a desperate cry for attention, a way to boost her status in a twisted game. That's when I decided enough was enough. I'd to expose her for who she really was. I'm going to show everyone the truth, I declared, determination burning in my heart. It wasn't just about saving my name, it was about tearing down her web of deceit. With every step, I gathered evidence, talking to those she'd manipulated. Did you hear what Sarah said? I asked them, my voice steady. I watched their faces change as they began to see her for what she truly was. As I revealed her lies, the power shifted. Sarah's facade crumbled, and I felt a rush of triumph. You thought you could control me? I challenged her one last time. You're just a shadow, and I'm stepping into the light. Her smile faded, replaced by rage. You'll regret this, she hissed, but I stood tall, ready for whatever came next. I'd taken back my life, and nothing would hold me down again. I needed allies, and it hit me hard. I wasn't alone in this fight against Sarah. I started reaching out, and soon I found a group of friends and acquaintances who'd all faced her lies. Trust was key. I'd to tell my story while listening to theirs. Each tale showed how Sarah twisted friendships and brought chaos into our lives. Lily was another victim, and we clicked instantly. We need a plan, she said, her eyes fierce. Together, we brainstormed ways to expose Sarah. We realized our strength was in our unity. We weren't just two people. We were a powerful team ready to take her down. As our support network grew, I felt a spark of courage. I wasn't alone anymore. Every chat lifted my spirits. We gathered proof and mapped out our confrontation with Sarah. This was about more than my name. It was about stopping her from hurting anyone else. Together, we're unstoppable, I told Lily one day. She nodded, determination in her gaze. Our alliance was like armor. I learned that fighting back wasn't just about revenge. It was about lifting each other up. With our support group getting bigger, I realized the truth was super important. It wasn't just about words, it was about getting back who I was. When Sarah started spreading lies, my whole world felt like it was falling apart. I was scared and confused, not knowing who believed me. But deep down, I knew the truth was my secret weapon. I began to collect proof, saving messages and screenshots. Each piece felt like I was taking back my power. I wasn't just a victim anymore. I was ready to fight back. I learned that truth has a strong light. It shines in the dark, showing lies for what they are. When I finally faced Sarah, it was like a huge weight lifted off me. Every lie she told started to fall apart in front of everyone. I could see the shock on her face, and that made me braver. In that moment, I realized that telling the truth wasn't just about me. It was about standing up for everyone she'd hurt. I won't let you get away with this, I said, my voice steady. Sarah sneered, but I could see the fear in her eyes. The crowd watched, waiting for the truth to unfold. Look at the messages, I shouted, holding up my phone. This is what she said. Gasps filled the room as the truth hit hard. Sarah's lies unraveled, and it felt amazing. I wasn't just fighting for myself anymore. I was fighting for everyone who'd ever been hurt by her greed and manipulation. Enough! Sarah yelled, but it was too late. The truth was out, and it couldn't be hidden. As the truth started to come out, the web of lies Sarah had created began to fall apart. I was filled with anger and relief. Finally, I could see the light at the end of this dark tunnel. Every piece of evidence I found felt like pulling on a loose thread, and soon, her whole story crumbled. I was determined to expose her and show everyone the real Sarah. With each message and chat I saved, I felt stronger. I wasn't just fighting for myself. I was taking back my life. No longer would I let her control me. I reached out to others who'd been hurt by her, and together, we shared our stories. We realized that Sarah's lies affected us all. She was a master manipulator, and we'd been her pawns. As I learned more, my anger turned into a fierce determination. I couldn't give up now. I'd to reveal her true colors to everyone. I took a deep breath and prepared for our showdown. The weight of her lies felt heavy, but I wouldn't let it crush me. I was ready to stand tall, fight back, and reveal the truth. When I finally faced Sarah, I knew this was about more than just my reputation. It was about justice for all of us. I was done being quiet. "You think you can keep lying?" I shouted. "Your time is up." Sarah smirked, but I could see fear flickering in her eyes. "You think they'll believe you?" she sneered. "They will," I replied, my voice steady. "The truth is my weapon, and I'm ready to use it." While I uncovered the truth, I realized my fight wasn't just about taking down Sarah. It was also about meeting new friends who'd been hurt too. I met people who understood betrayal like I did. They became my lifeline, proving I wasn't alone as we navigated the storm together. Each story I heard opened my eyes to how messy relationships can get and how much it hurts when trust is broken. Through these new connections, I found strength I didn't know I had. We leaned on each other, swapping stories and tricks for overcoming tough times. It was clear. I needed to take back my own story, and I could do it with their help. We faced the lies together, helping each other see the truth in the confusion. I learned to trust again. I understood the need for personal growth. Every chat, every tear we shared, brought me closer to a stronger me. I figured out how to handle betrayal with style, turning my hurt into fuel. Understanding what had happened with Sarah changed me. I saw that even with all the troubles, I was gaining important lessons. After gathering all the proof, it was time to plan the showdown. I knew I'd to be smart about it. I couldn't let my anger take over. What if Sarah struck back? I'd to think about that. What could happen if things went wrong? I called in my friend Lily. Having her by my side made me feel stronger. I made a list of how to confront Sarah without losing my cool. I'd lay out the facts and share how hurt I felt, but I wouldn't let my emotions spill over. I needed to catch Sarah off guard. That would make my words hit harder. I thought about how others would see this. If people heard my side first, it would be tougher for Sarah to twist the story. I wanted everyone to see that her need for attention was what pushed her to lie. As the day got closer, my heart raced. I felt scared but also ready. I was determined to clear my name no matter what. I rehearsed for this moment, and I wouldn't back down. I wanted Sarah to know that her lies were about to fall apart, and I was the one ready to pull the strings. "Lily, are you ready for this?" I asked, my voice steady. "Absolutely. We've got your back," she replied, her eyes fierce. The moment I'd been waiting for finally arrived, and my heart raced. I'd spent so many sleepless nights plotting my revenge against Sarah, the girl who tried to ruin my name. Today was the day. I'd face her, armed with proof of her lies. I felt strong, ready to take back what was mine. As I stepped into the cafe, the air felt thick with tension. My friends were there, their eyes on me, their faith in me hanging by a thread. The gossip had spread like wildfire, and I'd to set the record straight. I was done being weak. When Sarah walked in, I stood tall and called her out. "You think you can just lie and get away with it?" I shouted, my voice strong. Gasps filled the room as I revealed her betrayal, the truth spilling out like a flood. My friends looked shocked, and I could see the doubt in their eyes starting to fade. "Trust is everything," I continued, my heart pounding. We need to support each other, not tear each other down. I could feel the power shifting. At that moment, a wave of relief washed over me. I was no longer a victim, I was a fighter. This showdown was about more than just me. It was about everyone she'd hurt. I was taking back my life, and this was my moment of reckoning. I'd never let anyone belittle me again. Sarah, you're done, I declared, the weight of her manipulation finally lifting. It felt good to stand up for myself. The cafe buzzed with whispers as I reclaimed my strength, ready to move forward. As I walked up to Sarah, my heart raced. I felt a rush of energy pushing me forward. It was time to face her and her lies. No more running away. Sarah had spun a web of deceit, and I wasn't going to let her control my life anymore. With each step, anger bubbled inside me. I'd trusted her, and now I was left with nothing but hurt. I'd to be strong. I wasn't going to let her lies take over my life. I was taking back my power. I stood in front of her, and I could see confusion on her face, but I didn't waver. Why did you do this? I asked, my voice steady even though I felt like a storm was brewing inside me. I needed her to understand that her choices had real consequences. I wasn't just a victim. I was ready to fight back. People around us watched closely, their eyes filled with support. I wasn't alone. I'd friends who believed in me, and together, we were going to reveal her true colors. This was the moment I'd been waiting for. A chance to find closure after all the pain. I was ready to shine a light on her betrayal, no matter what it took. I won't back down, I declared. Today, I'd make sure everyone heard the truth loud and clear, while I stood there, facing Sarah and the crowd that had gathered. My heart pounded like a drum. I was ready to reveal the truth. Trust issues hung in the air, thick like smoke. Sarah had twisted our friendship, turning my words into sharp gossip that hurt. Now, it was time to fight back. I pulled out my phone and showed everyone the proof I'd gathered. Each message and conversation exposed her lies. Her rumors spread like fire, ruining my friendships and my reputation. But I wouldn't let her win. I needed to heal, and this was my first step to recovering from her betrayal. Look, I shouted, showing the screen. Gasps filled the crowd. Some friends looked shocked, while others hung their heads in shame for believing her. I realized I wasn't just fighting for myself. I was standing up for anyone hurt by Sarah's tricks. This was about taking back my story. I knew I'd to face the hurt she caused. I called on my friends who'd my back, sharing their stories of betrayal too. Together we stood strong, tearing down Sarah's lies piece by piece. Confronting her felt like a win, but the scars of her betrayal still stung. I was determined to move on, stronger than before. The truth had set me free, and I wouldn't let her darkness hold me back anymore. Jake stood at the entrance of the cafe, his face twisted, in confusion. I could see anger and hurt swirling in his eyes. As I told him about Sarah's lies, I felt his insecurities rising. Did he really think I'd betray him? The air between us felt heavy, thick with unspoken words. I didn't want to believe it, Jake said, taking a step closer. His voice was low, almost trembling. I could see he struggled with trust, and it broke my heart. I wanted to reach out, to show him I was still the person he fell in love with. We both knew we'd a tough road ahead. Rebuilding our relationship wouldn't be easy. Betrayal hurt, and we'd to tackle our problems together. I wanted to be his rock, not just a girlfriend. That night, we talked and talked. Every word we exchanged felt like a step towards healing. Jake shared his fears, and I told him how Sarah had twisted everything. We realized we both needed to grow, to learn how to trust each other again. We promised to work on it, knowing it was our only chance. As we held each other tight, a small spark of hope ignited. Maybe we could find our way back. The cafe buzzed with tension as I exposed Sarah's lies. Whispers flew around the room like sparks, and I could see people leaning in, eager to catch every word. The air felt electric, charged with disbelief. Friends who once stood by Sarah exchanged shocked glances, and I could almost hear them connecting. The dots. My heart raced. I wasn't just fighting for myself, I was fighting for everyone Sarah had hurt. Then Jake burst in, his face a mix of shock and regret. The crowd's murmurs grew louder, their energy shifting in my favor. I felt their support wrap around me like a shield, pushing away Sarah's deceit. It was empowering. I was no longer alone. I continued revealing the truth, and I noticed some people shaking their heads, their disappointment clear. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was a fight against betrayal. The crowd rallied behind me, a wave of solidarity. I was ready to take back my reputation, and they were right there with me. In that moment, I realized I wasn't just telling my story. I was starting a movement. "Sarah, how could you do this?" I shouted, my voice steady. The crowd gasped, and I could see the realization in their eyes. "Stop lying," someone yelled from the back, and I felt a rush of hope. Sarah's face fell, and I knew I'd them on my side. The truth was powerful, and together we were unstoppable. As I stood there, watching Sarah's confidence shatter, I felt a rush of satisfaction. It was strange to see her, the one who tried to ruin my name, now stumbling in front of everyone. Sarah had twisted our trust into a weapon against me, and the sting of her betrayal cut deep. But now, I was ready to fight back. With each truth I revealed, I saw her friends pulling away, eyes wide with disbelief. I realized I held the power now. No longer a victim. I'd become a player in this game. My pain had turned into strength, and with Lily by my side, we faced Sarah's lies head-on. Fighting back was hard, but it was what we needed to do. We deserved the truth. The crowd buzzed louder, and I could sense Sarah's mask slipping. The trust she'd broken wasn't just mine, it was everyone's she'd fooled. I locked eyes with her, feeling anger and a hint of pity. She'd lost everything, not just because of me, but because of the choices she made. Watching her downfall felt strange, a mix of sweet and sad. But it reminded me that betrayal has a way of coming back around. Justice was finally being served. "Look at you now, Sarah," I said, my voice steady. "You thought you could play us all, but the game is over." Her mouth opened, but no words came out. The crowd leaned in, hungry for more. I took a step closer. "It's time to face the truth." Sarah's eyes flickered with fear as her world crumbled around her. "You don't understand," she shouted, desperation creeping in. "No, you don't understand," I shot back. "This is what happens when you lie to everyone you care about." Lily squeezed my arm, her support fueling my courage. We were in this together, ready to take down the toxic love that had nearly destroyed us. As the crowd gasped, I knew this was just the beginning. Sarah's reign of manipulation was over. The truth was powerful, and we were finally taking it back. As I stood there, a spark of power igniting inside me, I couldn't help but wonder if revenge was truly what I wanted. I'd finally exposed Sarah's lies, and it felt exhilarating. But why was I really doing this? Was it just about getting back at her? No. Deep down, it was about the hurt she caused me. The betrayal from someone I once called a friend. But then, I thought about the consequences. Did hurting Sarah really make me any better? Sure, I'd fought to clear my name, but at what price? The sight of her pain twisted my stomach. I didn't want to be the person who thrived on someone else's misery. "Look at what you did," I whispered, to myself, watching her crumble. The rush of victory faded, replaced by a heavy weight in my chest. I wanted justice, but not at the cost of my own humanity. It felt like I was walking a tightrope, and I was starting to question if the win was worth it. Why can't you just let it go? A voice in my head nagged at me. I knew Sarah's actions were awful, but I could choose how to respond. I didn't have to sink into bitterness. I could rise above her lies and build a life of integrity instead. "Forget her," I said aloud, shaking my head. I didn't need to be consumed by revenge. Instead, I could focus on rebuilding my life and surrounding myself with people who truly cared. Rebuilding trust with Jake was going to be tough. After Sarah's lies blew everything apart, it felt like a giant wall stood between us. Jake had trusted her, and that betrayal hurt like a punch to the gut. I saw the pain in his eyes, and it made my heart race with fear. I had to act quickly. I texted him, "Let's talk." We met at our favorite spot, and I came straight to the point. Sarah twisted everything. "I need you to understand how much I care about you," I said, my voice steady. "This isn't just some game." I felt a knot in my stomach, worried he wouldn't believe me. Jake listened, but I could see doubt clouding his face. "How can I trust you again?" he asked, his voice shaky. That question hit me hard. I took a deep breath. "It's going to take time, but I'll show you." I promised to be honest about everything. As we talked, I could feel the air thick with tension. "I'm here for you," I urged. "I won't disappear." Each word felt like a lifeline, even if it was slow to sink in. He opened up, sharing his hurt. It stung to hear, but I knew it was important. We'd to face the truth. Days turned into weeks, and we kept talking, inching closer to each other. I shared my thoughts, my fears, and my dreams, hoping to break down that wall. "I'm not going anywhere," I whispered one night, staring into his eyes. "I want to prove my loyalty." The pain from betrayal still stung, but I knew I'd to heal to move on. My trust felt like shattered glass, and I was determined to pick up the pieces. First, I tackled my feelings head on. Anger? Check. Sadness? Check. Confusion? Double. Check. Each night I wrote in my journal, letting my thoughts spill out. It helped me untangle the mess of emotions swirling inside me. "I can't believe she did this to me," I shouted into the empty room, gripping my pen like it was a lifeline. I reached out to my friends. "You won't believe what happened," I told them. Their eyes widened with disbelief, but their support wrapped around me like a warm blanket. They reminded me I wasn't alone. "Don't let her win," my friend Jake said, his voice steady. That hit me. I needed to be strong, and with their encouragement, I started to build my emotional wall. Next, I took a break from the chaos. I tried mindfulness and meditation. At first it felt silly, sitting there in silence, but slowly, I found a little peace. "Breathe in. Breathe out," I whispered to myself, trying to clear the fog in my mind. Then came the hard part. Setting boundaries. I cut ties with toxic people, especially Sarah. "You're not good for me anymore," I said firmly, my heart racing. It felt like a weight lifting off my shoulders. I realized I'd to put my happiness first. With each step I took, I felt stronger. Every moment I chose to heal was a step away from betrayal. "I can trust myself," I told my reflection. It was a powerful realization. I'd rise above this pain and reclaim my joy. I stumbled out of the storm of betrayal, my heart racing. I had to trust my gut and look out for myself. Anger bubbled inside me, mixed with sadness and shock. Sarah's lies felt like a punch in the gut, but instead of sinking into despair, I decided to fight back. I grabbed a notebook and started writing. Words poured out. My fears, my thoughts. It was like I was peeling back layers of confusion, trying to see what was really going on inside my head. Every sentence helped me understand myself better. Then came the biggest lesson. I learned I couldn't always count on others. I had to be my own hero. I surrounded myself with friends who lifted me up, not ones who pulled me down. I started talking, openly, sharing my feelings with Jake and my other close friends. "I can't believe she did that," I told them, my voice shaking. The pain of betrayal was sharp, but it made me tougher. I realized that facing tough times head-on was the only way to grow. I refused to hide from the hurt. Instead, I embraced it and learned from it. Each challenge was a step toward strength. When the dust settled, I emerged not just as someone who'd been hurt, but as someone who'd transformed. I was stronger and more aware of myself. I understood that every painful moment could lead to growth, if I chose to learn from it. I now knew to trust myself fiercely and guard my reputation against any whispers of doubt. "I won't let this break me," I said to myself, determination flooding my voice. With every experience, I was ready to rise. Again, no matter how dark the road ahead seemed. As I fought to take back my life and name, I learned that conflict has a steep price. It wasn't just losing friends or feeling betrayed. It was the heavy weight of anxiety that squeezed my chest. Every day, I was on edge, dreading what Sarah would say next, or how my friends might turn against me. It felt like I was stuck in a storm with no way out. Each fight drained my energy. I'd to dig deep just to face the lies. I felt so alone, trapped in my own mind, replaying every moment when trust shattered. Anger boiled inside me, but it was mixed with sadness. I missed the friendships that used to make me happy, now clouded by doubt. In all this chaos, I learned something crucial. Fighting back was a must, but it cost me more than I realized. I was losing parts of myself, my peace, my joy, even my sense of safety. Every lie Sarah told chipped away at my spirit. I felt like I was drowning in this battle, and I worried how much longer I could keep going. But I refused to back down. I have to do this, I told myself. If I want my life back, I need to face these challenges, no matter how hard. The fight wasn't over, and the stakes were sky high. "Why are you doing this?" Sarah sneered, her eyes cold as ice. "Because I won't let you win," I snapped back, my heart racing. The tension crackled between us, and I could feel the anger rising. With every word, I knew I was stepping closer to reclaiming my life, even if it hurt. This was my battle, and I was ready to fight. The fight with Sarah opened my eyes. I learned I'd to stand up for myself and take control of my life. I knew I'd to move forward to heal. I focused on growing stronger and building real friendships with people who cared about me. This whole mess made me look inside myself. I discovered I could bounce back from anything and that trust is powerful. After everything happened, I started my journey to empowerment. Sarah's tricks became my stepping stones. I accepted what I learned and realized I needed to rebuild trust, not just with others, but with myself too. Each challenge was like a weight lifting off my shoulders, showing me I could handle whatever came my way. I surrounded myself with friends who'd my back. We shared our stories, and their support lit a fire in me. I learned that being open isn't a weakness. It connects us. This new way of thinking helped me form deep, honest relationships that I could trust. As I moved ahead, I became careful but also braver. I understood that trust takes time, but I was ready to work for it. The road was tough, but each step brought me closer to the strong person I'm now. I refused to let anyone's lies control my story. I'd rise above it all, stronger than ever. "You're not going to break me, Sarah," I said, clenching my fists. She smirked, but I felt the power within me. I won't let betrayal hold me down. I'll keep pushing forward,